All right. Oh, Nick just jumped in right in time. What's going on?
What up? Y'all can hear me? I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you came in like, what's my man off the Five Heartbeats? Eddie Kane. You came in right. The show just got started. You pop right in. All right, let's go. What's good? What's good? What's good? You tune Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kel. I got my squad with me today, as always. Ladies first. Porsche, what's going on, miss?
How's it going, Kel?
Everything is great. Penny out of Brooklyn. What's going on?
Manhattan.
Man, I apologize. I apologize. I know that Manhattan rent is a lot more, so I apologize.
Once again.
My bad. JP, what's going on, fam?
What up, brother?
All right, everything good. Nick, just in time. Eddie Kane, what's going on?
What's going on? How's it going?
Everything is good. Everything is good. And yes, what's good?
What's happening, everybody?
All right. Y'all know me. Let's get right to it. So last week, Vern, who'll be on here in a minute, hit me up, and he was like, yo, Kill, has anybody dropped the bag worse than New Edition? And I was like, what you talking about? He was like, yo, the New Edition, the biopic was out, BT, everybody was loving them. I mean, my kids was loving them. You know, kids who never even heard a Candy Girl song was in my teen center playing it, and the whole, they couldn't get it together. So like Bobby, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike got a crew, and then Ralph and Johnny, I think, own the name New Edition. So just how did this bag get dropped and just all the drama? And it got me thinking just about, why can't groups stay together? Like, you know, this is going back to the Temptations. Like, nobody can stay together. You know, I remember my mom back in the 80s, like, yo, two Temps. You got the Temptations over here touring and another three of them over here touring. Why can't groups stay together? We haven't had a hip-hop group in God knows how long, or an R&B group. So just looking at what it is about groups, why they can't stay together. But my first question for y'all, what group breakup affected you the most, and did they ever bounce back from that? So like, if it's Tribe, did you feel like Tribe bounced back from the breakup? If it was EPMD, do you feel like they bounced back, or just wasn't the same? So Porsche, you tell me, what was your group who affected you the most by breaking up?
It was NWA for me.
Okay.
And that was largely because NWA was one of the first groups I was ever introduced to that had more than like two people, I want to say, like that had a few people going on. And being from where I was from, we got obviously more stuff from the West than we did from the East. So I was more attuned to what was going on with NWA. And then I think also it got really messy really quickly with the diss tracks Ice Cube released, and then Eazy-E spinning back and all this kind of stuff. And then Eazy with the whole AIDS thing. And it was just always on the news and always being talked about. So it was always something. Like, I remember being like, oh man, really? Oh, really? Like, it was always just, and then my older brother, who is the one who introduced me to hip hop in the first place, or rap, it was both of us kind of talking about it all the time. So that was kind of like, damn, before then I was like, no, rap groups are like, they're like best friends. They don't break up. Come on. Like, they're best friends. These guys go on tour. They're in studios all the time. And then when this happened, it's kind of like, wait, what? Like, they're not, And so it really had me down for a while. And then, yeah, so that I would say NWA.
So tell me this, are you talking about Cube leaving, or are you talking about when?
Yeah, I'm talking about Cube leaving.
Okay.
I'm talking about Cube leaving, and then eventually it kind of dismantled everything. Because, yeah, like, eventually you heard about it dismantling everything.
Right.
So.
All right. No doubt. Nick, what you got?
Y'all know how that's my favorite album of all time. The reason why I love hip hop. So when they were releasing the Love Movement in '98 and announced the breakup prior to the album dropping, like, this is the last Tribe, it was just bittersweet because it's the end of my favorite rap group, but the album wasn't that great either. So it's like, damn, I'm heartbroken. Like, damn, they breaking up. And then I'm like, y'all gonna leave on this? This is what y'all gonna leave your fans with? Mm-hmm. So it was that kind of thing. And then like the albums that followed, I'm probably one of the few people that actually like Amplified. No, it's not great, but I'll take that any day over a Phife solo. God bless the dead. But yeah, like, Amplified wasn't great. Phife solo was like, it was just, they break up. And some people are just meant to be in groups to me, because solo, they just didn't have the success or the like the dope music that they had as a group, as a collective. And you know, over the years we've talked about it before. You can see it kind of the chemistry kind of leaving when Phife moved to Atlanta.
Right.
That's where you first noticed it. So, like in between Midnight Marauders and Beats, Rhyme, and Life, you could just tell something was off.
Right.
So that was the one that most affected me, was Tribe.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. My guy schooled me too. He was like, "Look, Tribe broke up after midnight. They just ain't know it. It's like that marriage, as you know, is kind of dead, but y'all doing it for the kids, and you money ain't right yet. But yeah, like you said, like just seeing Beats, Rhymes, Life, it just. I mean, I'm sure Tip would never say it, but I feel like he was like, "Look, Phife dipped. All right, let me get my young cousin.
Exactly. Consequently, let me bring him in."
Everything like that. So yeah, I definitely feel like Tribe broke up after that. JP, what about you?
You know, I probably would normally say Tribe, but I felt, you know, like Nick said, like they announced like this was gonna be, you know, the last album or whatever. So I mean, I felt bad about that, but for me, I'm gonna have to go with Pete Rock and CL. You know, I know they're not a group, but it's a duo because we only got 2 albums from them.
2 great,
you know what I'm saying?
Too.
And 2 dope albums. I mean, the EP came first, and then the Mac and the Soul Brother, the Main Ingredient. But I was a CL Smooth fan and Pete Rock fan. Pete Rock was probably the producer that influenced me the most to start making beats. So just to have those 2 huge, great albums and not to get anything else after that, like that hit me the hardest.
Right. Now the funny thing about Pete is that even on Soul Survivor 2, he had 2 joints to It's a Love Thing and Appreciate. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying? That gave you that feeling to get it. It was like, all right, maybe we get the back.
Yeah.
You know, they go on tour together, then not see on OK Player, like, yo, just shut up and make my beats, nigga. You faggot, you know, whatever. Like, call Pete a faggot, like, just make my beats. And I'm like, damn, like, yo. Then they was,
when he said that, he's like, dang, it's that bad?
Right. Like, I'm like, damn, you know, but then I see them doing some shows, and then the whole, because that's the only, truth be told, that's the only group who I would still want to hear a reunion album from. Like all these 90s groups that's broke up, it's Pete and CL. Me and Ev always go back and forth. Y'all know I love the whole being in the studio together and the chemistry and the vibe. But I even think those 2 can make it happen, even just sending tracks back and forth. You know what I mean? Because like CL said, he's the best who ever did it over a Pete Rock beat. Like he sounds the best over it. And it's obvious from CL's solo career, you know, that they need, well, he needs Pete. I think they need each other. You know, I think they need each other. I think Pete has made a very dope solo album, the Soul Survivor. The rest of them have been, you know, dope. But I still think they need each other. And they're the one group who I think can still make dope music right now. You know, wouldn't be disappointed. JP, you made a good point. Let me ask you and Nick this. Or ask everybody. Like you said, Nick, you kind of got the word that Tribe was ending. You know what I mean? So we got it coming. Do you think that's worse or better? Because I didn't really have no expectations for the Love Movement coming off the Beats, Rhymes, and Life. And on top of that, I know y'all really don't even fuck with each other. So for me, my expectations was low. But do you think it even matters? Like, do you think it's worse to, like, it comes out of nowhere? Like, with Pete and CL, I guess it just came out of nowhere.
It was just like 2 years passed and no album coming. You like, what the hell?
Right.
But they was like every 2 years.
Right.
But like with Tribe, though.
It's worse to know or to not know?
I say it's worse to know because in Tribe's case, Find a Way was dope. I'm like, this. But then when you hear the rest of the album, you're like, oh, okay, this ain't Find a Way all the way through. What is this? So to when it's not announced, did Pete and CL ever announce it in the 90s? I don't remember.
I don't think anything. I think it's like you said, like, because keeping in mind, all we had was the source. Like that was, there was no Twitter, there was no people talking shit back and forth to each other. You know, if we had Twitter in the 90s, we would have known about everybody's breakup.
True that.
Everybody, like niggas forget, and y'all know I love Cass, but y'all forget that Big Boy's wife was like, "Yo, y'all want to know where Andre is? He in my husband's phone with naked pictures of him." So. You know, y'all didn't hear that?
No. They said what now?
No, Big Boy's wife was like, blew up the spot when I guess they was going through a divorce and was like, yo, y'all want to know where Andre 3000 and he and my husband phone with naked pictures. Like, what? Big Boy had naked pictures
of Andre?
His phone. Oh, wow. I can't, trust me, God. I'm a Big Boy fan. I'm not making that shit up. Y'all ain't putting that on me.
So Big Boy had naked photos of Andre in his phone.
That's according to the man's wife, though. That's according to the woman that he was divorced.
And they outcast for real.
But what I'm just saying that to say that you get
outcast for real.
mud with social media. You know what I mean? Like if you think to shut up and just make my beats faggots, like imagine what would have been happening if they really had Twitter popping off. Like without Twitter, we don't get word to air that Big Boy got pictures of 3,000 in his phone. Like that just stays in that one.
But
can we just be clear that that's alleged? That's alleged. Come on.
No. Word is born to Jesus.
Yeah, but her word is not born to Jesus. No, not you.
I don't know if it's true, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying according to her, it's alleged. Like, let's just be clear. Like, it could be false.
Back to the Pete and CL.
Talking about Kill said that this big. See that one? It'll be Kill said, and then I'm the bad guy. But no, what you gonna say, Nick?
With Pete and CL, like main ingredient drop, right? So then Pete was working on I and D-Dot. Remember he had the label situation with Electric. That folded, and then it was just like he was just gone.
Right.
Until Soul Survivors. He like, okay, Pete Rock solo. That's when you kind of thought like, something must be up with CL.
Right. I feel you. Vern, what's going on? I know you just closed on the house, good bro. I see you.
He get the bag before he come in.
Take side now.
But I still had to stop at the Soul Food spot and bring my wife a plate home, so that's why I'm late.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Home first, man.
Yeah, man.
Penny, who you got for one of your groups breaking up?
All right. Well, it don't really apply because they never get back together, but the top of my list is Gangstar. I could have had more, man. I could have had a lot more. I mean, I love Owners.
I never understand why people don't like Owners. Like,
I told you why, man.
Why?
We waited 5 years. It's basically Moment of Truth light. Because it's like, it's dope, but it's not Moment of Truth. And we had to wait 5 years for it.
Right.
True.
I get it, but I mean,
it's a dope album.
It's not for everybody. But I know a lot of people like, I don't fuck with that. When that shit was whack, that's when they fell off. And I'm like, yo, we're like Sabotage, like
it definitely didn't fall off.
There are bangers on that album. But
it is.
My bad. What else you say about Gangstar?
I mean, you know, the sad part is talking about that stuff like involves all kinds of mythology, gossip, and stuff because nobody really knows about the breakup. I mean. We've all watched all the interviews with Premier probably, but he doesn't say too much about the other dude that influenced Guru.
Sapphire.
And he doesn't say too much about it other than speak about Guru's health. So to me, I always thought about, and I mean also, God bless the dead, but the dude had a drinking problem, and that's what really ended up his career. I think. I mean, it was kidney related stuff, and I think it was kidney disease, and then other things. So you know, but nobody really knows, and that I was always really sad about that, you know, because it took me years to really find out anything, you know. Yeah. But that's it. That's the top of my list, and they never got back together.
Yeah. I feel it. And like you said, it's one of those things I think we'll never really know what happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, the funny thing is the whole story. It seemed like Gangstar was just like that group that like just fought all the time. Like Primo said, like they had fights. You know, these
just fights. Yep.
Lived together. You know, they lived in the Bronx. They lived in Branford Marcellus's basement together. Like, you know what I mean? So all of those things. But the funniest story of that is when I think it's Nick. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's If Now You're Mine, where Primo said it was off the White Man Can't Jump sound.
Yeah.
He said Primo Google pissed at him and went in the booth and spit the whole rhyme, and it was towards Primo.
Yeah, he was like going at him.
Like, fuck you, nigga. And then like he left the studio. So it's like, yo, Primo, like, yo, that this was for me. So I love them stories. Vern, what about you? What group broke up affected you the most?
I'm sure y'all already said it, but for me, Tribe. You know, just they are the soundtrack of my college time, man. I mean, well, I guess ending high school on to college, and you know, De La Soul, I would say, is my favorite group, but Tribe, it's hard to even say, but they're up there, man. It's like I grew up with them, and to see them not continue that continuity, and even the last two albums, I'm sure you've had several podcasts about it. They were together, but they weren't together, man. So it's just unfortunate that cats that they just can't work through whatever differences that they have to make great music. And I guess it's selfishness from our parts as the listeners, man. We just want our favorite groups to just stay together, man, and make dope music. I mean, it seems like it shouldn't be that hard to do, but obviously it is.
And the funny thing is, we're about to talk about why it is so hard. But yes, what's your pick, good brother?
I got to go with EPMD.
I was waiting for that one to be
Me too.
They're probably the messiest one.
Yeah, man.
EPMD is just terrible, man, all the way around. Whatever the alleged robbery attempt, blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. And then it's amazing they even got back together after that. And they cool now. I don't know if I could be cool with you if you got guns on
you. No, you ain't tying me up at the crib and then we kicking it. Nah.
Yeah. And, and the thing about it also is the ripple effect that it had throughout the various members of the additional people involved with them, whether it's Redman, Keith Murray, K Solo.
It definitely messed up Redman because it happened right before he dropped.
All of those dudes felt that, and it came out in the later music from each one of them. And I think had EPMD stayed around and together and everything wouldn't have. I think it had a lot more great music coming from the satellite groups around them. Now they may not have recorded anymore together as EPMD, but had they stayed together and kept everybody in house, I think the whole thing would have worked out a lot better for everybody. The residual effects, let's say.
All right, no doubt.
Those first four.
What happened?
Those first four albums.
EPMD albums,
Incredible.
Yeah, I'm with Jens. EPMD is mine. Mainly just being, I think that was like the first real breakup I think I felt from hip hop. Like prior to that, like I don't think groups broke up. Like I don't know if Houdini broke up. I mean, they broke up because they stopped making music. But like back in the late '80s, there wasn't like no memo going out that Houdini or the Fat Boys or people just stopped making music. But with EPMD, and I remember having the issue of The Source. You know what I mean? They had like with all of them looked like they was promenade in Brooklyn, like from the back, and it was like, damn, like these dudes is breaking up. And it's funny because I even saw the unsung on them. It's like nobody ever brings it up. You know what I mean? It's weird because I remember reading how Eric was like, yo, he's copping his plea like, yo, it ain't true because you telling me that I had you robbed and you still went on tour with me because you didn't mess up the Hit Squad money? Like, like how do you tour? Like what dude do you know can go on tour for 3 months and be with the person who robbed them every day? You know what I mean?
Check this out. You remember Eric had a cast on his arm or something, and it was rumored that he got that because he jumped out the window after trying to rob Parrish. He was the one. He jumped out.
I heard Eric jumped out a window over some shit crib.
Some shit,
Dude, spread rumors. You done mixed two stories together. That Eric done jumped out the window of Robin Parrish. Nah, he jumped out of a window of a shorty crib in Jersey or whatever like that.
One thing.
I think somebody tossed his ass out.
He was allegedly thrown out of a window.
One thing that E-Double said in I think it was a Juan Epstein interview, something a long time ago, that made a lot of sense to me. He was talking about the wave that he was riding production-wise. I mean, he was talking about, $40K a beat, sometimes 80, how much labels were paying him. Making all this money. What does he have? Why is he making this other moves? Why is he like robbing? Why is he setting up a robbery? Why is he not paying dudes? I don't know. So that made sense to me, even though we don't know all the details.
Yeah, my thing is that I just, and at the end of the day, here's my thing. Me and Vern were talking when he hit me with the idea about how you got these law firms, Jacoby, Lowe's, and Miles, and all these law firms that I'm sure have been around for hundreds of years. Families can't stand each other, but they stay together to get that back.
Yes, sir.
Now, a law firm is a little different because the powers that be may not have to meet that much. We do conference calls, et cetera, et cetera. Hip hop is different. You know what I mean? But is just this. Now we'll go into why do we think groups break up? You know, why can't groups laugh? Why can't groups make it anymore? And one of the things that I wanted to say was, Nick, you made a point about Pete was working with the D-Dot and all of that. And one of the things that I've always understood is that, and I didn't get this about Little Brothers breakup because I thought they would have kind of got it by now. That I feel like if you are the producer, as an MC producer, and again, JP in those Gangstar Pete days, I'm sure they didn't get that. It's like, hey, we 50-50. But if you're in the group with a producer, you got to understand that he's just going to make a shitload more money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, point blank, period. You know, again, coming up in those early days, Pete and CL going to high school together. We just boys. You know, we split everything 50-50, which is love. But then when you go out and you disappear for 3 years, producing everybody else under the sun, you know, and now you got people in your ears like, yo, I heard Pete just got a new act. I heard Pete just got a new crib. And then you still living in your mom's basement. Like, it's hard to, I'm sure it got to be hard to deal with that. You know what I mean? So tell me this. One of the reasons why I saw that Little Brother broke up was Fonte and Pooh was saying because Ninth was producing for so many other people that he was giving away the Little Brother sound. You know what I mean? And they kind of felt like, you know, well, nobody's going to want to hear us over those beats because you've already given those same beats to all these other people. How do y'all feel about that? Like, do you feel like JP, I know you're like you rock with Little Brother Ninth. Like, do you think that's valid? Do you think that it's valid as an MC to say, and we could put this for anybody? Is it valid for Guru to be like, nigga, you gave away that to J-Rule? Like, I wanted that, or you gave that to Biggie? Like, as the producers, like, if you're in a group, should your MC have first dibs to all your beats? Like, JP, what you think?
I mean, I can understand what they were saying as far as that is concerned, but there's nothing you could do about that. What you want his style, his production style to change with the MC? Like, he makes beats how he makes beats. So, you know, it's not that he's giving away the Little Brother sound, I feel, but what I feel is like they should have the mindset of like, no matter how beats he does for anybody else, this is Little Brother, and our trio is magic no matter who else he produces for. It's a different thing. So they should take that mindset. So I can understand it, but I don't agree with that.
All right.
Yeah.
So Fonte or Pooh said that?
Well, keep in mind, I'm not the biggest Little Brother fan. One of them said that. One of them said.
I said names. Okay, my bad.
I thought that was kind of like, come to think, I always tell people, I didn't like Beats, Rhymes, and Life, but what would Beats, Rhymes, and Life would have sounded like if they were rhyming over Crooklyn, or all those bangers that Tip was giving to Nas and Mob and all these other people? What if that's what, you know, Beats, Rhymes, and Life sounded like? So as if we're in the group, if I'm the producer and all of y'all the rappers, should y'all get first dibs first before I sell to anybody else? So should Guru have first dibs on anything that comes out of that came out of Primo's MP back in the 90s? Should he have had first dibs? Nick,
it depends, because like Premier, he always sound like he don't just have beats laying around. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always say I'm sure he has some that people passed on that you know, eventually somebody else hear and be like, I'll take that. But he said he produced on the spot. So if he's in the studio with an artist and, you know, catching the vibe with them and creating the sound for them, then it's impossible for Guru to hear it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a producer that's just making beats every day, hell yeah. If I'm your dude, I want to hear that first. I'm like, all
right. So you up first dip. I get you.
Hell yeah.
You're right about him making stuff on the spot. Then there had been leftovers, because I want to say Devil's Pie was a leftover.
Cannabis. Yeah, Cannabis passed on it. Yeah.
He got on. But here's the wild part. Even with those leftovers, I mean, even with him making them fresh, I still could hear Guru on New York State of Mind. You know what I mean? Now, would he have been?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Nah, probably not. But I could definitely still have heard Guru on some of those beats. But I definitely get what you're saying. Porsche, what you think? Do you want first dibs? Or did Little Brother and them have a point? Like, yo, nigga, you selling all these beats, though. I wanted that beat. Like,
I think it's natural to think like that after the fact, but I think it's they don't own the producer. So
Mhm.
it
Right.
doesn't matter. Like you don't like Guru doesn't own Premiere. Fonte doesn't own, like, nobody owns a producer. So if your whole thing is that you need first dibs on beats to make a good album, then you've got bigger problems than just the beats going to somebody else. Like that's kind of what JP was saying, is you need to recognize that you're Guru, and even if Premiere gave that beat to so-and-so, he'll make a beat that's good for you, that you can be really great on, you know? I think, again, like, it's after the fact, you're like, yeah, I should have had dibs first, but I don't think that that's the reality of the situation. At the end of the day, they're producers first, and they produce beats for people. And I'm sure that Premiere did, or any producer that was part of a duo or group gave their best beats to their group that they belong to. And with people at the caliber of like Pete Rock and DJ Premier, it's hard to say because they're just elite all the time. So anything that they're putting out there, you think is the best, and I should have got it, but they're all the best. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's just what I think personally.
All right, Porch, remind me to come back. I wrote this down, but I won't forget it. So I got something else to say about Primo, but I want to get to everybody else before I start running my mouth. Vern, what do you think about you? What do you think about that?
As Porch said, you can't own a producer, and chances are, Kill, you've made mention of this before. There's been plenty of times that you have fire beats that an MC was like, I don't know about that. And then somebody else got on it and killed it. And you're like, man, you should have gave me that beat. You like, fool, I did give you that beat. You just didn't mesh with it, man. So I mean, you asked another question too about giving away the sound and stuff. And it's funny, I was just listening to a podcast with Jimmy Jam, and that's the reason that Prince kicked him and Terry Lewis out of the time, is because they went to Atlanta and did some stuff with SOS Band, some killer stuff. And Prince was on some. You gave away our sound, like, dude. Jimmy was like, dude, you're Prince. You're the most talented musician ever to walk this earth. What are you talking about? So it ties into some other stuff that I'm sure we're gonna talk about as far as egos and people in people's ears, jealousy, and all that stuff. So the short answer is no, man. You don't own that producer.
All right.
But if I was Guru and I heard that damn Living Proof album, I'm giving Preem that Drake, the Soldier Boy, when he was at the Breakfast Club, when he got out the chair. Like, nigga, you gave him the like, how? I would have had to say that for Living Proof, man. Like, Malachi don't be.
Hey, remember, we had to keep Malachi out of jail.
Yeah, true. We give him a pass.
We got to keep Bird out of jail. I'm sure. Yes, what you think, man?
Now, I think if you producing for our group, then those beats are our beats.
How many?
Straight up.
How many? I mean,
boy, Yanks ain't having it.
Because guess what? Any money I got, I'm not just running out and spending it without telling my wife. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't happening like that. It's that's how I look. You're not good. Guru. He don't own Premiere. But they need to be checking in and saying, look, I got something. Let me let you hear it. Let me let you hear it. And then we'll make a decision as Gangstar as to whether or not we're going to do something with it.
I guess Guru is Premier's wife then.
Hey, you in
this is wild to me. They're co-workers. Do you check
No. I get what he's saying. He got.
But do you check in with your coworkers every time you want to make a phone call? No.
I'm not, but we not that close. If it's a partner that I share a business with, you're damn right.
All right, good point.
That's a good point.
Okay.
I'm gonna get Penny real quick. Penny, what you think?
But I mean, I just think that quickly, Gangstar maybe isn't the best example because I'm just for real. Because
you're right,
Primo made beats for other people always. The catalog is ridiculous.
I mean
that can never been a beef between them because they kept making albums and he kept making, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I do have one Primo story of beef, supposedly, about this. That one of the things that Guru did have a problem with was Because here's the thing. One time, and I've told the story many times, Dave and Buster's Gangstar came out, took all the radio DJs out back in like 97, 98. And I was talking to Guru, and Guru was saying, you know, the crazy thing is that, you know, Primo can go produce for anybody he wants. But for me to be featured on another album, I have to get permission from my label. You know what I mean? And it made me really think about that. Like, damn, you're right. You know, like Google can't just be in the studio with.
Is there something in the contract though?
I mean, I don't know how that works, but it's like while we always see this person is, you know, featured by, I forgot what it was on credits. It'll be like this person is from Sony Records, like the track that Bezo did with Lauren and the Outsiders. Eventually, Sony came in and was like, nah, you can't be on that, you know, and told Lauren you can't be on that album. So it's not just like where Primo is like, yeah, I'm just in the studio kicking it. Oh, you want a beat? Boom, I made it for you. Give me 20 G's. That can't happen for Guru. You know, and it's like, damn, bro, I feel your pain. And another thing I heard was that Guru kind of had issues with, like, damn, you in the studio with Jay, you in the studio with Preem, like, I mean, in the studio with Jay, Nas, all them big, like, get me on the joint. Like, get me featured in there.
Maybe he tried to, and then they was like, nah,
Yeah.
I don't want something on the album.
Yeah.
I mean, that is true, but what I'm doing is just trying to plant some seeds of why groups, because again, that's what we're trying to do, figure out why groups don't last. You know, and you have things like that. Like I remember getting a job. I was in 10th grade. I got a job at Foot Locker. My first day home, every nigga on the block was like, "Come on, Kill, hook me up." I'm like, God damn, I didn't even get my uniform.
You got a paycheck.
Like I didn't even start yet. Like, give me a minute. So you're right. Maybe he did, but again,
I mean, but the only thing about Preem, man, I mean, he made joints on the first floor of Finesse. I mean, you're talking about, he's been doing this for so long. If that was really a real beef for Guru, they would have broke up a long time ago.
Here's the thing with this, and Primo has said this. He said he didn't feel that he was a dope enough producer to really start doing outside production until after Daily Operation. You know what I mean? So he may have done some beats here and there, but prior to Daily Operation, really prior to Hard to Earn, Primo didn't have a lot of credits floating.
No, for sure. I was just talking about the span of time that maybe it wasn't a big deal.
But you know what it is too, Penny? You're right on that's a bad example, because I think the reason they lasted so long was because Guru found his bag with Jasmine tags.
Yeah.
It literally was like, okay, boom, we're taking a break. Primo, you go do you. I found my lane over here, and I'm going to do me. And then we'll come back together. Whereas a lot of these other groups, CL, Smooth, other people like that, they didn't have another lane to go to.
I was hoping that got brought up. Yep.
So on that note, so did Guru owe Preem some money on the Jasmine Taz stuff since they're married?
Their partnership?
Yeah.
But he just said that they made that agreement, though. He just said it. He just said that they came to a mutual agreement that they.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, I don't know if they made a mutual agreement. I just thought it was dope that Google was able to realize I don't want to just be sitting around here twiddling my thumbs for the next year while this dude is out here getting money, and I'm just sitting here, you know, because while Primo's doing this, he's not on tour. So
does anyone know what the like industry, I guess, standard is for producers and MCs? I feel like as an MC, you're a little bit more tied to the late, like you don't have as much freedom. I don't know because I'm not in the industry, obviously.
Definitely right. But is what Guru was saying is that it's not fair.
Right. So this is the thing. Like as an MC, it sort of comes with the territory. It's not fair, but that's just sort of what it is. So it's not as easy for an MC to just jump on this person's track or that producer's beat. They're sort of locked in more than the producer is, I feel like. So again, with that said, I don't think that he needs to check in like Ian said, or call Guru and be like, oh, by the way, this person approached me. I'm going to, send him beats or whatever. I don't.
You're going to be solo.
What?
You continue to be solo. That don't get in no group.
Here's the thing.
Where you got to check in, you're gonna be in trouble.
But you signed that as an MC. You sign that, like you have the contract. It's written in black and white, fine print.
And you're pretty much the face of the group as the MC. Because remember, for a while, even Nice and Smooth, they called Guru Gangstar. My man Gangstar. Gangstar was Guru. You know what I mean? It wasn't Guru for me. Guru was Gangstar.
All kind of stuff.
I mean, JP, what were you gonna say?
I mean, I just feel like this. Like, if you shouldn't have a problem with your producer making other beats for other people, you should just believe in your producer. If he give away hot beats, he's gonna make more hot beats than me.
He got more.
Like,
exactly.
That's what it is. You believe in the talent of your producer.
Yeah,
I
You can't question those Gangstar albums.
That is true, but
You can't question those Gangstar albums.
But like we said, Gangstar is a bad example.
yeah. So
right.
But the thing is Gangstar. Well, it's a bad example for this. Good example for how to make your group last. Come up with other shit. Is
Right.
to talk about marriage? Okay, if the wife is always out doing shit and the husband's in the house, nigga, get a hobby. So you know that Gangstar is a good example of why they lasted so long was because Guru kind of fell into this, lane.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I was kind of shocked with Little Brother because I kind of felt by their time the MC should have known it. Like I get it. You don't get this coming out of high school and Pete and CL in 91, but by the time Little Brother pops up in 2003, I'm just assuming that, yo, bro, you do know that the producer is going to get more. You do know he's going to do more shows. And like, it also what's up, Nick?
No, finish your thought. I'm gonna piggyback off of what you just said.
I was just gonna say, like, in for Fonte, he is that talented that he could go on to do the foreign exchange and do stuff and do all of that.
Right.
And Pooh doesn't have that. Pooh has made a lot of solo albums after Little Brother, and I don't know if any of them outside the one with Knots, I've never even paid no attention to him.
Right.
So it's also if does your MC have the talent to be able to go out and do something else, Fonte and hooks. I'm waiting for a commercial one day with Fonte. I think he had a night commercial. What am I talking about? So it's also coming back to that. But one of the things, United People with Beats, be working with it. Do you think so? Yes, I get where you're coming from that you should check in. I think as a producer, and JP, you can tell me if it's different for you. I know when I like to work on a project, I like to get it done. And once your project is done, I'm on to the next. Kind of like a very RZA-ish or Beat Miners way. Like I felt like maybe a lot of people didn't want to wait for RZA to finish up having to do like inspect the deck. If I'm fifth in line and I'm waiting from 1993 for you to do Meth, for you to do Old Dirty, for you to do Ray, for you to do Jizza, for you to do Ghost. Now I feel like I'm ready to go out here on my own and do my own thing. So Penny, what were you about to say about as far as what Jens was saying about like the marriage and you need to check in? Does Pete need to check in with CL before he gives away all those remixes?
Nah, I don't see it like that.
Okay, all right.
I don't see it like that. I mean, is there what are the groups? Name groups that the producer did not produce outside of the group.
Well, I mean,
for a while.
Here's the thing, that it would really be like a post 94, 95 thing, because remember, that was the whole thing of hip hop. You just produced for your crew.
Right.
For outside people. You know what I mean? Like that was the thing. It was after Illmatic where it was like, oh shit, you mean I could get 2 Swiss Beats and 2 Just Blazes and a Primo? And so that's when all of that stuff really started popping. So like I said, it started popping really.
Well, that's 25 years, homie. So,
But that's what I'm saying. I felt like Little Brother should have known. Like, you should have known.
Oh, I feel you.
It's almost like setting up your retirement plan before it even gets started. Because let's be real. If we was the Apartment 5B and we a group and Portia the lead singer, we gonna know she gonna go solo.
Yeah.
So at this time of point, why even start?
I can see it.
We know she's going.
She
going solo.
That's old Diana Ross Porsche over there.
Now, growing up in the 60s and the 70s, when me and Vern were talking about the Temptations, it's like Portia said, we're friends. We're best friends. Like, we can't break up. You know what I mean? So, gotta stay together. Whereas now, once that business, and one of the things, so tell me this, JP, what do you think is one of the reasons why groups break up and we don't have any groups anymore?
I think it's just natural order things. Like no group is really going to stay together forever. It's rare that they actually do. So people grow apart. I feel like when a group starts, eventually they're not going to be together. I just think that way now, like, because people grow apart, they have families, they grow, different things come into play, and they just go their separate ways. So I just feel like it's the natural progression. For those that do stay the course, like a De La, that's
rare. It's rare. We can count on
it's very rare.
One hand. De La, PE, and the Roots. But you can't even really count the Roots because
so many numbers.
Got the Roots. Please go. These niggas done had about 55 members.
Yeah. The two core members. Quest and Thought. But yeah, it's very rare.
Yep.
Like It's very rare.
Man.
All right. What you gonna say, Vern?
I was just gonna jump in. So y'all know I closed loans. So there was a time in my career, it was me and 3 other cats. We went to a company together. We were like, all right, we just gonna split everything, you know, down the belly. Man, we did that for about a month and a half. Cause I did a deal. I remember this. Closed a loan Malibu for 1.5 mil. Split that sucker 4 ways when only 2 people in the crew was doing work.
Right.
Nah, homie, no.
Right.
Hell,
There we go.
no. So that's one of my reasons. I got a couple other ones, but that's it. Everybody ain't pulling their weight, man.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about a group like Tribe, from watching the documentary, kind of like it was Q-Tip in them.
Yep.
Like, that should be the group.
It's like in the Temptations, what you call say, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
So, which is crazy, but it comes back to that, and for me, it's one of those things. Is I've always hated group work. If I was ever, somebody was like, "You're in the group," it's like, "Oh fuck, who ain't gonna do it?" We already know that there's somebody. Naomi was only in 7th grade, and she hate group work, you know. And I remember being at college and being like, "Oh God, this nigga ain't gonna do nothing." Like, so you already know in your mind you got to do more work. And like Porsche said, "Hey, we was all friends," but then when it's time to split that check 4 ways in Tribe, and Jerobi and Ali really ain't do that. Like, you know, really ain't never come to the studio. You're like, God damn, I really gotta split this 4 ways, which then comes into now the money comes in, which brings up another point, and I'm gonna get to everybody else. I didn't know this, but for years, Spinderella was not signed to the label. It was just basically a consultant. And they felt like that was fair because you wasn't with us in the beginning. You wasn't with us when we was out here grinding with, because the first Spinderella on Hot, Cool, and Vicious, if you album, is not the Spinderella. So for Salt and Pepper, they felt like, yo, you wasn't there with us from the beginning. You are a worker for hire. And Spin thought that was fucked up. And it was like, no, I need to be part of the group. Like, I've been down with this group since the 2nd album, but it didn't matter. So what do you all think about that? Is that shady? Like, real quick, Penny, is that shady? Who's right or wrong? Salt or Pepper? I mean, Salt or Spinderella?
Shady.
Shady? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's shady.
JP, what you got?
Absolutely shady.
All right. Nick?
Shady as hell.
All right. Porsche, you look like you not about to agree with everybody by the look on your face. So I can skip right over you because I don't think you think it's shady because the look that Porsche.
No, I think
funny on these shows because I
don't like the word shady in this situation, but I don't think she was right.
Okay, she does.
I don't think it's shady, but I don't think because if she's down with the group, she's down with the group. It's not shady. Salty.
Yes. No, shady-esque.
Salty. No, it's shady because they ain't want her to have that contract because they ain't want her cutting into their funds.
That's right.
That's shady.
Again, I don't call that shade. Yeah, it's shady. It's just not right.
No, we gotta keep going, Vern. What about you? Shady or good?
It ain't good, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it shady because if you really think about it, all 3 of them will really workers for hire.
I mean, yeah, they're true. They're all workers for hire, but I think what Spin is saying is that I'm not getting.
What does she do?
No, I think Vern's saying because Salt and Pepper weren't writing their rhymes, right?
Right. So I'm saying,
what is Herbie, right?
What does Spinderella do?
She spins the Rella.
Y'all not getting me in trouble.
So Salt and Pepper was already, I'm sure, getting the short end of the stick as far as the money goes. So Spin didn't produce nothing. She ain't scratched nothing.
No, she scratched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she on the record scratch.
Real quick. Yes, what you got on this? Shady-esque, or what you got?
Oh, it's straight up wrong. There's no way.
All right. Now here's the wild part. I don't know what the hell it is because I'm trying to because I feel like it's almost like with EPMD and Scratch.
I was about to say that.
Scratch wasn't down with them from the beginning. DJ Caleb Ball was.
Right, yeah.
So it does become a point where I'm hiring you. Like Jam Master Jay went to EPMD while they was on tour. Was like, yo, your DJ, your live show ain't dope enough. You need a DJ. I got one for you. You should bring him on. So it's kind of like, I feel like this is work for hire. Like, hey, I'm looking for a graphic designer. You're now my graphic designer. Like, you are getting paid for a service. I think it would be shady if I'm not paying you.
Yeah.
Shady to me if you're my DJ and I'm undercutting you. But here's the other thing that a lot of people don't know about Gangstar. Guru told Primo, you better start doing something because you ain't getting half of this record contract if all you do is DJ. Because that is that's something that I can pay you for doing shows. And that's what got Primo making beats.
Yeah. So what happened to that marriage, man? What happened to that marriage?
No, but here's the wild part that I think that
was the marriage.
Because I feel like Google is looking at it to stay
for a year and see if they're gonna tell you go find you a job, bro. That marriage where you sit on that couch for a year.
No, but what I'm saying is that I get with Google. Folk gotta remember, Guru was old as shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So when Guru and them got signed maybe in 87, I'm 12, Guru maybe 22. Okay. So Guru is an elder statesman, and I think he understood the business of it. That yes, if you are just going to be a DJ, why am I going to give you half of my record contract money when all you do is DJ? You should be paid for when we do shows. That's when you
then don't have me all on the album cover and stuff then.
But this was in the beginning. So it was like a marriage in the beginning.
I'm saying with Salt and Pepper, because wasn't Spinderella on the album artwork?
Yeah, I think she was
part of the group.
Yeah. In the videos and stuff.
Yeah. So if I'm just paid word for hire, I ain't got to come to the photo shoot.
But
we'll go hire somebody else.
Here's the thing. Is that even worse? So I'm with you. Don't put you on the cup on the phone.
Because I feel like I'm part of the group if I'm in the
How long will she work for hire? What was that
No, I mean, this shit is forever. I don't think
forever.
They had albums.
Yeah, they had a reality show about 5 years or whatever ago, and they talked about this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, no, I don't know if this got resolved. It got resolved in the past 2 or 3 years. But
okay. Wow.
Going back from Shake Your Thing all the way up to Waterman and kept it going. That you are work for hire.
Work for hire.
And I see it. I do see you, JP, with the shadiest. Just because I forgot Spin even had the rhyme on
Waterman.
Yeah. She was doing some verses.
Right. So now you're doing more than just scratching. All right. I can see the shadiest a little bit. Now with let me ask y'all this. You got Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike on a show, and you got Ralph and Johnny on a show. Who do y'all want to go see?
Ralph and Johnny.
All right, Vern, you got Ralph and Johnny. Yeah, who you got?
I would rather see all of them, but I'll go with Ralph and Johnny. They're the singers.
Yes, sir.
Right, Porsche, what about you?
Ralph and Johnny.
All right, Nick?
Yeah, same. Those are the vocalists.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
JP?
I might go with Ronnie and BBD, man, because they all had the better songs.
Right. And what about you, Penny?
They did have the better songs. I was just about to say the same thing like everybody else.
Prerogative, man. Like, I mean, he don't sound like that, but I'm saying.
Right.
I mean, but those are none of those dudes could sing.
Right. Oh, you included Bobby with
Bobby's
with BBD.
Bobby, Ricky, and Mike. That's the name.
Yeah, just like the song. Just like the song.
Right.
Okay,
just like the song. So
got you.
Now the funny thing is I was with JP and I was like, I want to see Johnny and Ralph and all that. And I was like,
if I'm going with my wife, the girl. If you're taking your girl or your wife, you want to go see the vocalist.
Right, but then what happened is then I went on YouTube and saw them performing, and
my goodness, yes,
I forgot y'all gonna be singing "Can You Stand the Rain." Y'all gonna be singing, Boys
to Men.
Like it kind of hit me, like, oh yeah. So I had to change my choice because when I was doing all this, I was like, man, I don't want to see no Ralph and Johnny. But after seeing that video, I'm like, yeah, I see that.
Hey, now, Kill. Go ahead. I want to.
No. What were you gonna say, bro?
As an aside, has anybody in the history of freaking music screwed up a bag as big as New Edition did? And the reason, I'm sure, but I'm just saying. Okay,
well, I know what you're saying because with the momentum from that.
After that series, they could have sold records, concerts. I mean, they were talking about the little kids, the actors, and them all going on tour together, bruh. They had people 60 years old, our age group, my daughter's age group, and the little kids. Yeah. Bro, they fumbled the bag so terribly, man. It's a shame.
Well, here's the thing, Vern, and like I said, when you called me with that and gave me the idea for this show, what do you all think about this? Ralph wants more money because he sings more. He doesn't want to split it down the middle. He's like, I have to sing all these songs all night. Me and Johnny want a bigger cut than what y'all get. Shady or not, Penny?
That's only fair.
What you got, Penny?
So that's proven that. Yeah, I guess they did sing a lot more. Yeah,
that's what I was. That I don't want to split this 6 ways because y'all 3 mofos just stand in the back and dance. When it's the BBD set, yeah, y'all do y'all thing. But for the most part, I'm up here 75% of the night. I should get paid more money. Shady or not, Penny?
I don't know, man.
All right,
come back to me.
Shady or not?
He got a point. So I wouldn't say that's shady, but I mean, I guess he's doing the work, but I wouldn't say he's the biggest draw though. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's a little bit more even.
Yeah, I don't think Ralph is the biggest draw. I've never been to.
He was the least successful soloist. So out of all the solo albums, he was the least successful.
Right, but see, this is the thing, and that's why I say I haven't been to a New Edition show, so I don't know the percentage of songs. But
they're doing the New Edition songs,
and they're doing 75% New Edition and 25% solo stuff. That's all Ralph and Johnny. It's really all Ralph.
All Ralph.
You know what I mean? So I agree with you 100% that as a solo artist, he did the worst, and all you're gonna do is Sensitivity and what is the other one he had? It was Sensitivity and
Do What I Gotta Do.
Do What I Gotta Do, Break Her Heart. Yeah.
His solo thing is 10 minutes tops. I mean, scratch it with some backups if you want to read it. But for the most part, you know, but if the bulk of a New Edition show is, like I said, 60 to 75% New Edition songs, he is singing the most of it. So, Nick, what do you think? Shady or not for Ralph to want that? Keeping in mind that I'm sure it's always been split 6 ways. So, but I just think, again, we got to think about, and you know, as we get older and business becomes more important, becomes more important. So it's like, I'm sure they got kids in college. They kids may have graduated college for all I know. I know Bobby got kids everywhere, but I'm just saying, like, you know, so now you got mortgages. You know, I didn't even know Ricky was on drugs until the joint came out. So, you know, money splitting it 6 ways versus me getting a bigger chunk. So, Nick, shady or not?
Like you said, it depends on the percentage of the show that's New Edition songs.
Right.
Like if it's 75% New Edition, Rap need a bigger cut.
Here's the thing though, real quick. I don't want, but listen, you want a bigger check, but you can be if they don't agree to it, what you gonna do? You say, oh, well, I'm not gonna perform. Then you ain't gonna get paid anyway because you ain't doing the show.
But this is what happened. This is where the split came in because they didn't agree, and Johnny and Ralph are like, "Fuck y'all, I'm out," and we doing our thing.
Yep.
So I wouldn't go to either one separately. Either period.
Right.
I agree with you there, but yeah, it's not. Go ahead. You have to ask me.
Shady or not for Ralph want more money.
I wish I could just not continue talking so much, but I have to say that all this tells me is that people do not read contracts. Like they're not reading what they're signing, and they're signing and then getting pissed later when they see what's going on when they get their money.
Though.
What?
They were kids.
It doesn't matter what they were. They understand what you're signing. Every single contract allows you. Every single contract allows you to counter a clause. It doesn't matter. You can circle things in contracts and say, "I do not agree to this," and sign your name. You can scratch up that contract all you want. When you sign, that's what you sign. I can't call it shady. Is it wrong? Yes, I understand. You guys are absolutely right. If someone's doing more work, they should get work in equals work paid. I get it. But you signed as a group. You signed that it's going to be split 6 ways. So you need to get it together and take that.
Well,
and then when you
take that.
Of course, I agree with you, but it's almost like when the New Edition came out, everybody was on Twitter like, "These dumbass they read their contract." I'm like, "Yo, motherfuckers don't even read their iOS contracts." Like,
okay, you know what? I read everything I sign.
When the iPhone sends you the update, niggas ain't looking through it. Like,
I read everything.
You read
I read things on your behalf.
Maybe except you, boys, but
I think I'm the only person in the world that reads terms and agreements because the music industry taught me that. It's because
so you read your Apple phone.
I read
everything.
I read
30 pages.
Go ahead, boss.
Yes.
I
read terms and agreements on PS4 before I played it. I was like, what am I acknowledging?
No, I'm letting y'all know. Bush is the Apartment 5B lawyer. I don't care.
I am absolutely the Apartment 5B lawyer.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the hard part with that is that again, this is why so many people sign bad contracts because they're kids. Nobody, I mean, these kids was 11, 10 years old. They parents,
parents at the
they don't know no better. They probably got their lawyer from down the hall who dropped out of law school. But I get what you're saying. But also, we're now talking about touring, so we're not talking about record-wise. Like the contract of the record is that. But now we're talking about touring, which has nothing to do with the label. This has to do with the group members deciding how we're going to split this money fairly.
Yeah, and I think that, and personally for me, I think that whatever you decide, that's what you got to stick to. And typically what happens is as soon as they're not happy, people dip out. And then they're like, well, to hell with you and go do what you got to do without me and see how well you do. And it's all this big, you know, show back and forth. But that's just, I guess that's the growing pains of signing something and not really realizing and agreeing to something and not really realizing. What?
That's the thing. They didn't sign.
I'm saying even just agreeing. But even just agreeing. Like if you a verbal contract is just as good.
Halfway through the show, when I'm more tired than you are, because I've been dancing my ass across the stage and singing more, and I'm hoarse and you not. Now we got to renegotiate these agreements in the middle of the tour. And we saw on the movie times when people wasn't showing up, you know, and people was, you know, just not, you know, like, fuck this. So, but I get you, Vern, shady or not, that Ralph wants more money. Vern,
He heard you.
Vern, shady or not? That Ralph
wants
more money.
Is it shady? Heck no, it ain't shady. I mean, we saw in the movie that from Jump Street, and I'm sure what Ralph and Johnny are doing now goes back to what happened initially. Number one, we know that Ralph was offered a solo deal, but he said, I got to bring all my crew with me. So that's it. That's him as a kid. I give him that. But then you also saw in the movie, he's in the studio grinding. They at picking up Soul Train dancers and at the mall and stuff. So he putting in the work. Yeah, like he said, I never missed a show. I never missed an interview. I never missed none of this stuff. These other cats out here wilding out. So over time, as he got older, he's like, man, I'm not going for that anymore. And then lastly, that last tour that they got together, the Home Again or whatever, Johnny, I think, lost his house. You know, they lost crazy money because they fighting and shooting. That wasn't Johnny and Ralph doing that. That was BBD and Bobby and them. You know, so they took crazy L's for the sake of the group. So now, as they're adult, I mean, I hate that they're not coming together, but now, because I think Ralph and Johnny bought the name New Edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to take all of that into account when you see them saying, man, I ain't doing that no more. And take a look at all the L's that they took for the sake of for the whole group.
Yeah, now that's a good point, Vern. That just like you said in the movie, where it's like, dog, I'm in the studio, y'all not. I remember there was a problem with RZA and Ghost. I think Ghost was suing RZA, or they were suing each other. And the wild part is like one of them is married to the other one's sister.
I wanted to talk about the Wu-Tang,
but let me get Jens real quick before we go to Wu. But then I'm coming back to you. Yes, what do you think, shady or not, that Ralph wants more money?
I don't think it's shady. I totally understand where he's coming from, but there's a lot of stuff that's gotta take.
Right. I mean, right, but just on the surface, you don't think it's shady for him to say, "I want more money because I sing more."
No, I think that's wrong to say that you sing more because you already knew what it was from day one.
Right.
So everybody in the group ain't a singer, but if everybody in the group would have come together as a unit as they should, he would definitely be wrong because they make more money as a collective than they do as two separate entities.
That's true.
But I mean,
you can't tour. You can't tour as New Edition. There's only two of y'all. You're not gonna make
doing it. They're doing it.
I understand they doing it. Just like the Temptations have different dudes. And all
but I'm just saying, when you say they can't do it, no, they are. They are doing it.
But are they making as much as they would?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're making more.
Oh, I mean, look at it. If I only got to split this 2 ways versus 6 ways, I don't have to get that same bag. You see what I'm saying? So I've been not having to work. If I put it, here's the thing: I got 1 kid. For the person who got 5 kids, they got to work a whole lot harder than I do to feed them kids. So even though you make 200,000, I only make 100. Don't think you got more money than I got. So no, they may not be getting those same arenas, but the bag is probably working out to be even better. And here's the thing: if everything that Vern is saying is true, I don't got none of these thug headaches. Me and Bobby don't do that thug shit. Ain't nobody shooting up my tour bus.
Nope,
Ain't no cops coming to me.
sense. Yep.
So, and I think the other part too is when people say you knew this from the jump. New Edition is a bad example because they were kids.
Yeah,
kids.
Kind of knew who was going to be the lead singer. You know, when they made New Edition, I don't think it was Ralph, you the man. No, when they got in the studio, people made it that way that you're the man like that. But what you gonna say about Wu, Nick?
No, because like over the years, a lot of cats have been trying to sue RZA. We got to think about who did the bulk of that work in the group, because he's the producer. He's the brainchild. He's the one that brought Wu-Tang together. He's the one that put it together. He's the one that got that group contract that allowed them to go out and get solo deals. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And half of the crew don't nobody care about if it ain't affiliated with Wu. We don't give a fuck about half of their solo careers.
Yeah.
So for you to come back and try to sue this man who did the majority of the work, that's some foul stuff to me. Some of them cats. Now, some of them got a point.
I think one of the things is like kind of what Porch was saying is that if you understand the business, again, you know, so if you're thinking we're all brothers and we're all one and we're all splitting this money 9 different ways evenly, like we don't know what was presented to them. You know, I feel the same way that you feel, because I'm like, I know I've seen it happen with groups that kind of got signed. It wasn't even getting a lot of money, just getting a little bit of money, and seeing how much a little bit of money messed up friendships and things. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, if you guy feels like, yo, why RZA got the big house? Because again, like we said, the producer is always going to have more. You know what I mean? So that's the problem, that if as kids, if we don't understand that, because you got to remember, all of our favorite rappers were kids when they started for the most part.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Tip was what, 14 or 15 making beat? Like I work with teens. I can't even fathom somebody 15 years old making Bonita Applebum and having a record deal at 15. You know what I mean? So you know, you probably don't understand all that until later on in life. And like Yen said with marriage, I tell couples all the time, you have to renegotiate your marriage all the time. You know what I mean? I got married at 26. I'm 44. I ain't the same person. My wife's not the same person. So we have to come together and kind of say, okay, well, where are we at right now? And sometimes in life, people say, you know what? We ain't seeing eye to eye. Let's take, like, we done. Like, the person you become isn't the person I fell in love with, isn't the person I married, vice versa, and we out. So, but again, that's through years of counseling and coaching and all that shit. The average rap group don't know how to keep friends together. The average person don't know how to keep their friendship together.
You know what my question would be for this, with regards to this Wu-Tang RZA thing, is what was decided and then what happened? Because it's one thing to decide something before you embark on projects and how much work that actually entails. It's like contract work, right? Like you can estimate something, but then you get in and, it takes more hours. This glitch happened, and then you got to put in all this extra work. This I don't know, like sound system broke, so you have to bring your own. And there's a lot of things that could go wrong. So I'm wondering if what happened is there was like an agreement set in place and everyone signed and agreed and it was all good. And then RZA gets the money and he's out here divvying it up and he's like, yeah, but wait, there was this that happened and I had to do this and I had to do this. So actually so it's going to be cut a different way. And then people got in their feelings about it. Is like, maybe that's what happened. And would he be valid? Sure. But is that correct? No.
I kind of doubt it, only because RZA got burned by Tommy Boy. Funny enough, we're talking about De La Soul today.
Yeah.
So he already went through a sour situation with a label. So by the time Wu-Tang comes around, he's 24. He's not no teenager.
Yeah.
So I think he understood the business side of it.
Yeah, but did the rest of the Wu members? Because I know God, for example, had the biggest issue with RZA and the payouts and all that. And that was the biggest, I think, most publicized swing that was going on.
How is the wackest nigga in the group gonna have?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm making scrunch face over here. You got
You got of all people.
You need to be.
Yeah, you got of all people. But that's what I'm saying is what was put in place at the time and then what happened after the fact. Because again, it's one thing to backtrack on something that was once decided. I don't know. That's all I'm saying is sometimes I feel like when things go left, it's because it's left of what was decided initially and someone's blindsided. So then they're like, hey, that's not fair. What are you doing? Now you're screwing me out of my money. Is it valid? Sure. But the other person's also valid, you know? Like, I don't know.
But like you said, people don't read contracts. I think that's what happened. So they signed
And
something.
the third thing too is that people have to understand is that 9 times out of 10, not only I'm not trying to make this sound good like the producer always gets more money. The producer does a shitload of work.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
agree.
Like, the MC is leaving, and then you get to go. I think that's why RZA got them together, moved them to LA for the second album, the double album, because niggas was in and out of the studio. Ray talked about that. Like, in the beginning, my brother would stay with us the whole time and help me through my verse. It's like by the second album, it was like, boom, you did your verse and you out. Like, there is no unity no more. There's no brotherhood. So that's a lot of stuff. But Tone Wu, quick question. What 4 Wu members have to be at a concert or part of an album for you to say this is a Wu-Tang Clan? Because what's happening is we're getting these shows. Like, my man hit me like, yo, Kill, Tony come to town. You want to go? Y'all know what my first fucking question was.
It's Raphael.
Here you go. Before we even hit up anybody's Cash App, is Raphael Sadiq gonna be there? If the answer is a no, then no, I don't want to go see Dwayne and Tim. So, what 4 Wu members have to be part of an album or a show in order for you to go or for it to be interesting to you? JP, who you got?
Ghost, Ray, RZA, and it's between Meth or GZA. So I gotta go with. I'm gonna go with Meth. I'll go with Meth.
All right.
That's
tell me this. While we're on this, a Wu-Tang album, does it have to be produced by RZA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get to everybody. I'm gonna get to everybody.
Oh.
Does it have to be produced by RZA? JP, does
yeah.
Okay. Penny, what 4 Wu members for you?
Man, I went to so many of their shows and didn't see so many of them. I mean, all of them.
Exactly why I'm asking, because of
all of them. No.
What 4 members do you need?
Meth, Ghost, Ray, Deck.
All right. And is a Wu-Tang album if it's not produced by RZA?
I mean, they've done it, yeah.
No, but I mean for you. Like, I mean, shit, people do anything. But that last Wu-Tang album they tried to sell us on had more Redman verses than anybody. And I'm like, that ain't the Wu-Tang album. So you can do anything. But for you, is that a Wu album? To me, if it don't say produced by the RZA or at least the 4th Disciple, I'm not going down to the 1st Disciple. You got to stop it. For me to be like, that's a Wu album, either RZA or 4th Disciple got to be part of it.
Okay, I'm with that.
All right, cool. Nick, who you got?
He already said no RZA. Who was it for again, Penny? Hitman?
No. That was for the show. That was for the show.
Oh, for the show.
Album, for
Got you. Oh, okay. Yeah,
watch out now.
For the show, I'm kind of with him on that. You said Deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with him then. If we just talking for the show.
For the show. And
Ghost, Ray, Method, and Deck.
All right. And is it a Wu album if it's not produced by RZA?
No. Just like Cypress Hill tried to do a Cypress album that wasn't produced by Muggs. I'm like, that's not a Cypress album.
There you go. Porsche, what you got?
So 4 members is only half of the Wu, so I can't go for it.
I'm just saying who has to be there.
Yeah, so all of them except for Master Kill and Capadonna.
No, Porsche.
No, I'm sorry. Otherwise, 4. It's no. I can't.
Yes,
do
you
4.
can. Yes,
Otherwise,
you
it's not.
You have to do 4.
You can do
it.
You can do it against Porsche, Pete Rock. You can do this, Porsche. Come on.
Listen, you guys made me separate Pete Rock and Premier. I'm not doing this one.
We need 4.
If you got,
all right. We'll give Porsche the pass. Vern, who's the 4 that?
No pass.
You
gotta do 4.
If a U guy falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, does it really fall?
Like fine, RZA, Ray, Ghost, and GZA, Meth, Deck. I don't know. I don't know.
Come on.
Pick one of them.
All right, Vern, who you?
GZA. Fine, GZA. That's my 4.
I got Ghost, Ray, Meth, and GZA.
And is it an album if it's not produced by the RZA?
Not at all.
All right, and yes.
I'm almost agreeing with Porsche on this, but I'm gonna give you your 4. I'm gonna go with RZA, Method Man, Ghostface, and GZA. But it ain't, and it's definitely not a Wu-Tang album if you're not gonna have RZA producing on it. Yeah. initially, it ain't a Wu-Tang show without all of them, and you're obviously not gonna have ODB. So that's the only person I would say you can eliminate out of a Wu-Tang show and still say it's a Wu-Tang show.
It never happens.
Man died, but that's my 4 pick. And no, hell no, you can't have one without RZA.
All right, no doubt. And I got Ghost Ray, Meth, and Jizza. Same thing. You can't have it without RZA. Nick, great point with the Cypress. That to me, it's not a Cypress album if it's not produced by Muggs. You know, it's not the Alcoholics if it's not produced by E Swift. It's not a Tribe if it's not produced by Tip. You know, those are just my things. 2 more quick questions. Then I want to talk about a new album. One of the things that I saw in the Whispers Unsung that I thought was dope, and it's one of the reasons why I don't think a lot of groups get to make it this far, that they said that they made a decision that we were splitting this money evenly split, no matter what. One of the members went to jail for years, and they still got that man his cut every time, even though he didn't do anything. You know what I mean? And I think that that's one of those things that's just that friendship. That it's like, look, I don't care what you do. I'm not here to weigh. Like, obviously, you bring something to the group, you know, whether that's just you got all the records or your uncle was Red Alert, like something that, you know, that is here. What do you guys think? Do you think you could be part of a group with your crew? If you could think of your friends and your crew, could you be part of that? It'd be like, look, this dude been locked up 10 years, but we still making sure his kids get that check. JP, what about you?
I can do it. I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially it's like friendship, like my boys.
Right.
And not just some business that got, you know, we met as adults. And if it's my boys I grew up with, because I know they'll do the same for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm with that.
All right. What about you, Porsche?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, Bird. Now here's the thing, because you was the one who gave the example with the Malibu 1.5.
Yeah. Well, so you said as a group. So I'm thinking specifically of about 5 people in my life that I would say that about.
Right.
But,
My bad. You're right. You said those are people who linked up later, not just.
Yeah.
Right. What about you, Jens?
Of course, no doubt about it. If we know one another like that, I got you.
All right, no doubt. And of course, it's the same for me. I never thought about anything like that because I think watching all the 5 Heartbeats and all the Temptation movies, I never heard anything like that. Where it's just like, yo, no matter what goes on, we're splitting this 4 ways, or you hear about it, but then you never see anybody actually sticking to it.
Yeah,
whatever like that. One last question: Little Brother, is a Little Brother reunion a real Little Brother reunion with no Ninth Wonder beats? Penny.
No.
JP.
No.
Nick.
No.
Porsche.
Nope.
Vern.
No, sir.
Jens.
Absolutely not.
Okay, cool.
So is that something that's been talked about?
No, I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
anything. I was just saying it just based off of the other things of, you know, because I know a lot of people don't put that much weight on the producer. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'd rather just hear the MCs. Like, as long as I'm hearing, like, for instance, Ghost has done a lot of bangers that aren't over RZA beats. You know what I mean? So for somebody else, they're like, I don't care, you know, if it's whatever album, just as long as the MCs are there. So, you know, but I always felt Little Brother, here's the wild part. I felt like Knife is probably the most popular member of Little Brother.
He is.
He is. Yeah.
Yes.
Can somebody explain that? Because I'm not used to it. Or the producer being
Jay-Z co-sign.
Jay-Z, that's what I'm gonna say. Jay-Z and Beyonce, you connected to the machine.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I could get Threat and Girl album and all that. Yeah.
But the wild part is I almost felt like he was the biggest member of the group even before that. Like, I remember my man being like, yeah, there was shows where Ninth wouldn't come, and like the crowd would be fucking mad. Like,
I think that's because the Little Brother reminded what carried on the lineage of Tribe. And they know, who's making these beats that make us give us this feeling, and they found out who it was. So, of course, he became the bigger member.
I feel because I think it was the same thing with Dilla. Like, Slum would tour, and they'd be like, but Dilla ain't coming. You know, the crowd wanted to see Dilla. You know, and it's just bugged me because they're not no DJ Scratch. You know, you ain't getting a Ninth Wonder, you know, scratching it up. But I guess they just, you know, they want to see that. Tell me this. We talked about all these groups breaking up. What about the ones that stay together? For instance, De La Soul, that last album. Don't forget, I still got the show, y'all. Not too many people was loving that last De La Soul album. You know what I mean? Groups who stay together, Smith and Wesson, Smith and Wesson album. You know what I mean?
But I actually like the album.
I like the album too.
I'm
I
not
think
as
it's
hard
top.
as you are on it.
I'm not, and again, I'm not hard. I'm not hard. I give it 3. I give it 3 mics, which I think is fair. You know what I mean? Like and that's the thing. So many times when people say, when I say I don't like something, I'm not calling it whack. Whack is like the beats ain't quantized, the track, you know. No, I think it's cool, you know. But
Whack
again,
is like Jada Kiss's album. Sorry, I had to.
Bush
say
is
that.
throwing shots for no reason.
but just so how do we feel about that? So we all heard the Daylight album. Did anybody like the Daylight? Just
No,
no.
What's about the last? No.
The last album.
No.
Okay, so nobody liked the last. So we have this group that stood the test of time, but can't make dope music anymore.
Hey man,
I wouldn't say that.
I
I'm
would
gonna
say
say
that
we
because
don't
Grind
music.
Day was dope.
the Grind Day was dope.
But keep
Yeah,
in mind,
Grind Day
keep in mind,
Grind Day was dope.
the grind date had to be 10 years ago.
it was.
Yeah, true.
So
But that's well after when they first started.
no, you're right. You're right. No, I agree. I'm just saying, but now we have these groups that are still making the music, you know. And here's the question, you know, and y'all don't even have to answer. My pastor be like, you got to answer, just blink. But like, y'all like the Smith and Wesson album, but are y'all gonna buy it? Like,
I actually bought it.
okay, cool.
I actually bought it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Stream it.
I'm with Jason.
I'm just not a streaming
Right.
dude.
So, yeah.
Right. But so Daylight's last album was a brick. Is anybody raise a hand? Anybody waiting for a new Daylight album?
I am. I'm waiting on the one.
Premiere.
Rock the Primo drop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If that happens, yeah.
No. Without me.
No.
Even if it wasn't them, I'm
For me,
I'm still gonna pay attention. I'm still gonna check it out.
Here's the thing, because like we said, these people got mortgages. These people got kids. I'm not talking about checking it out. I'm talking about buying it.
I would buy it. I'm
will
gonna tell you
buy
why.
Daylight.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I said it on the show when I talked about how disappointed Anonymous Nobody, they can't end up like that. This is my arguably all-time favorite group. So I'm gonna give them another. I mean, they've earned another shot with me.
Right. So you're buying the album. Like for instance,
Yeah.
I buy everything the Roots do. I haven't liked the Roots album in 10 years, but I still buy it just because I feel like what they did for my city, like I want to support them. So even though I hate Undone, that shit is horrible, but I still brought it. You know what I mean? Just the support. So that's what I mean. Like, cool. Like you said, they affiliate group, all those things. All Daylight I care about right now, especially with the streaming hoopla, is are you buying it? You know what I mean? So cool. Now, Smith and Wesson. Penny, what do you think about this new Smith and Wesson album?
Man, I thought we were going to talk about more groups that broke up, but okay.
You got some more? I'm trying to think of who else broke up. Was it like EPMD, Fugees, Tribe?
I mean, a lot
NWA?
of groups broke up. See, I didn't want to heavy on that, Penny, just because we did a show of breakups to make up. So
okay.
I mean, you can spill off some more, but we know.
I want to hear. I'm curious to hear.
Yeah,
I mean, no, because these are small things and things that people probably wouldn't have said. But I'll start off with piggybacking on Portia's NWA. It's a breakup that I hated, but in hindsight, it's the most beautiful breakup that you could have thought about. I mean, from Cube and the Bomb Squad alone, and everything else. Same thing with Brand Nubian.
Oh yeah. I forgot about them.
Same thing with Brand Nubian, a breakup that I was like, oh no. But then when God We Trust came out, I was like, everything's all right. A quick one for me, man. Low Profile. This was the first group
Dub C.
The Dub C was in with the legendary DJ Aladdin. So this is a LA group. They have one album. We're in this together. It had, I don't know, 3 singles, I think. I mean, there's some bangers on there. And just like a little underground favorite back home. And they just broke up. This is like a group that Ice-T brought out with the Syndicate. And I mean, Aladdin is world famous turntablist and everything. So he went on to do some things, but then left music. Dub C, everybody knows what happened. But he's flown on this He's flown on this album better than you would ever think that Dub C flows. I'll just put it like that.
All right.
That'll be the one that killed Wood. Like, I think so. I should get at a spin.
What album? What album is
We in this together?
Yeah.
We in this together? It's something new?
Low profile.
No, that's
89, 90? I don't know. What's that from?
Yeah. It's from that era. Yeah, I thought y'all talking about some new.
No, that's
all right. So,
one thing about Brand Nubian.
What about Brand Nubes?
For a younger person, because y'all older than me, my introduction to Brand Nubian was In God We Trust. So I found out after the fact that Grand Puba was part of the group.
Okay.
So like from older cats, like you need to check out Grand Puba solo. He was in. I'm like, oh, for real? That's probably why I was disappointed when I heard Real to Real. I'm like, this shit ain't In God We Trust. But yeah, that's from the younger dude being introduced to Brand Nubian to In God We Trust.
Yeah, it's funny because I did not like the production on In God We Trust. Like, I'm not a big fan of that album. I never told him.
I love it.
I mean, coming from me, coming from One For All, I was like, damn, you know. So,
when was the last time you put it in one of your drives, man?
Pass the gat.
Put it in one of your drives.
All right.
The guys must be crazy.
I'll do that. So, Penny, what do you think about Smith & Wesson? Real quick. Good,
okay,
bad?
So me and you kind of agree on it. 3 mics. You know, when I first said, I think online, I said something like, it didn't sound, some of it didn't sound right to me. I didn't mean I don't like it. I mean, there's like 5 songs that I really like. But I just think overall the sound just doesn't tempo, just a lot of feel that I wasn't feeling. And I even went back to you know, refresh myself with Monumental, with Pete Rock, and even Reloaded with Ninth, and I even like Coco Bees. I know you don't like Coco Bees stuff, so it's not like I don't. It's not like I'm a shining head only, and anything other than that is not going to do. I just wasn't feeling it as much as I wanted to feel it.
All right, cool. JP, what you think about it and what you give it?
I thought it was a solid effort. Like I didn't like all the songs on there, and this one was entirely produced by Ninth and the Soul Council. But I like the joint with Rhapsody, that Ocean Drive joint. That's solid. The intro joint is dope. I like the joint We Good. You know, Let It Go. There's some solid beats on there. They weren't crazy, but it was solid. So I give it a 3 as well.
All right, cool. What you think, Nick?
Same thing. It was solid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at 3 mics. I posted on Twitter. My problem was the tempo. Like the whole album was the same tempo. That was like, give me a change of pace or something. Jeez. But you know what I mean? The chemistry between them is still there.
Right.
I'm just waiting for them to, like you said, the production. It wasn't like one beat where I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
You know, let's get it on.
Yes.
It wasn't one of those on
My
there.
goodness.
But it's a solid effort, you know what I mean, from a veteran group, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just hoping they get it right one time.
Get back with the beat, man.
How many more times they gonna get?
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? Because this is like 3 albums.
I tell you what, I'm laughing at. Solid. I love because you and JP both said it's solid effort. No, it just makes, you know what solid effort is when you're over 40. It's like a nigga playing ball at the Y and like he scores 5 points. You know, and he don't break an ankle. It's like, yo, Dave gave it a solid effort out there tonight.
But tell me this: what act plus 40 done put out a straight banger?
Oh no, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. I'm just.
I'm waiting on somebody to break the mold. So
somebody needs to, brother.
The expectation.
Well, I'll say this. And I'm gonna get to everybody else, but let me say this. I think one of the reasons, to me, and I said it, and it's funny because now everybody is saying gentrified Brooklyn. It sounds like gentrified Brooklyn. And to me, the Beat Miners was part of Smith & Wesson. Like they were part of the group. You know what I mean? That sound meshes with them perfectly. Everybody doesn't have the talent of, say, a Sean P to be able to go out and get other production and other producers. Sean P is Ghostface Killer for Duck Down.
Yeah.
You know, Riz, anytime I see anybody that's not produced by Riz, I'm like, except Ghostface. Because I know whoever he gets with, but it was the same with Sean P. I feel like, and the other thing with me is they just sound bored.
Bro.
You know? And I agree with you.
Bro, yes.
It's solid effort, but it sounds like it's the solid effort of, I really don't want to do this shit. You really don't want to do this shit. Any of us trying to get a job? Nah, well, fuck it. Let's go back in and write these rhymes. Like, I don't feel, and I was talking to Eb about it. and I was watching Inside the NBA, and James Worthy was like, yo, I can see the way this boy's playing. His heart ain't in it, you know, and maybe that's the producer in me or the maker of music. I just don't feel like they heart is in this. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe at the end of the day, I called Evan and asked him, like, dog, you've been rhyming since you 16. You 44. You still like rhyming? Like, because maybe your heart can't be in it, but this is all you can do. It's almost like going to job. You've been on a job for 40 years and you going on year 39. Are you really giving it the same oomph you gave it when you first got the job? But then Ezra's response is always, and he wanted me to say this, if you can't do the shit, then stop. And that's how Ev always feels. If you don't have the time to really sit there and write these rhymes, I'm bored, you sound bored, everybody bored. And then the other thing is, I just can't get with music. You tell me Musiq Soulchild on a Smith & Wesson album, I'm done right there. Because I'm like, why? Like Eddie Murphy's dad when he's like, why the fuck are you with Danny Terrio? Why are you with Musiq Soulchild? Musiq Soulchild, where's this going? Are you trying to get this on the radio? Because it's not going to get on the radio.
Yeah,
because women ain't gonna buy your album, and then they got this singer on there for 2 songs who's fucking horrible, man. This shit sounds horrible. What's up, Nick?
All right, we keep talking about the Beatminerz. What's the last project they did?
Oh, again,
I don't hear nobody talking about.
Hey, next week,
put out on Raucus. What was that album called?
Next week's show is going to be about producers disappearing like aliens, because I feel like that's what happened.
But see, they actually put out something in like 2000 on Raucus.
Yeah, they did.
I don't hear nobody talking about it.
I love this album, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that album is dope.
Like
it got about three.
This ain't even in the attic.
It got about 3 or 4 songs I like.
I mean,
I think me too. I think it's all right.
I mean, I think it's one of those things where it was that time in hip hop where all producers was making their Soul Survivor album. At the end of the day, I just think, like we said, I think Black Moon and Duck Down sound the best over Beatminerz beats. But you're right, the Beatminerz have disappeared. I don't know what happened to them.
No, they haven't disappeared, because the Black Moon albums that keep coming out is Evil D and Mr. Walk. So have you like those?
There's more Black Moon. I thought like the last Black Moon album.
See what I'm saying? That's 2003 though. That's what I'm saying. They still making music. They still made music past their prime. Did you like Stay Real? Did you like that album?
I mean, it was all right. It was blah. It was the same thing. I mean, because I think the magic was going. I don't know how to keep the magic. JP, you're a producer. I don't know, how do we keep the magic going? How do you keep these grimy, low-fi bass beats going? Like, I don't know how long we can.
If that's what they're doing, like, you know, if, as artists, you're not always going to stay in one place. But your audience wants you to stay in that place.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
So it's a problem with us.
But here's the thing that hold tight, bro. I'm gonna get to you. Here's the thing that I've always wanted, because somebody tweeted me the other day after I put my picture of The Shining up, and they was like, "Oh, it must be fucked up to be a '90s artist. The crowd don't want you to grow, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Boo hoo hoo." I don't feel like it has anything to do. I just want you to make dope shit.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. The problem is I don't know if everybody has the talent to now that you're old and you want to stop rhyming about weed and guns. I don't know if you have the talent to now want to rap about things like going to work, having kids, getting married. I don't know if you have the talent to do that. And then when you put it out and we're not receptive to it, then it's, oh, my fans don't want me to grow. No, your fans don't mind you growing, my G. You just can't rhyme about you rhyme good about guns and coke. Now you're trying to rhyme about kids and 401ks, and it don't mesh. Fonte could do that. Ruck did that. Like when somebody was telling me, like, oh, that's fucked up, you want 90 artists. Sean P is a prime example. That nigga came back out with I'm the brokest rapper. He raps about his kids. He raps about his wife. He raps about I ain't got no money. I just rhyme. And we loved it. To me, Sean P is like the last of the Mohicans of 90 artists that people not only
very rare
but support the fuck out. Whenever I post Sean P stuff, people be like, yo, my favorite rapper. I'm like, word? Like, that's your favorite? I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just like, wow, like Sean P. So it can be done. But again, if we look at Wu, why is Ghost really the last man standing? And he may have been the most talented, is talented less a word? I don't know. But the least talented MC. Same thing with Sean P. When my man told me in 2000, yo, you heard Ruck new solo album? I was like, you mean Rock, right? Like, Ruck don't got no solo album. Like, but it was. So I just don't know. I'm not saying fans aren't like that, but I really truly believe fans are like, just make dope stuff. But
what's the last Ghostface album you like?
Ghost. What are we over here with? Probably Shake. What's Shaky Dog and Kilos?
Listen, we're talking over a decade. So what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's 2006.
Yeah.
So
You know what?
he don't put out.
But
the last Sean P was the last Sean P was dope. And if you talk about Mike Tyson, if you rewind Mike Tyson and Jesus Christ Superstar and Monkey Bars, and you add on the last one, which to me was 4 mics, and I mean, I know he had a bunch of side projects and everything. This is why you get this response, man.
Exactly, yeah.
The dude music is
what
just
I'm saying is just everybody can't be Sean P.
nobody.
Buckshot may not be able to rap about, you know, his wife can't cook, and that's one of my
about nothing.
You know, Smith and Wesson, OGC, but
a rap about nothing and sound like something.
Right, Porsche
He said that.
Porsche, what do you think about the Smith and Wesson album?
I liked it. I mean, I'm lyrics over production. I think I'm the only one on the panel that is lyrics over production. So for me, I treat the production usually as just a backdrop, and I listen to things like words and flow and cadence and things like that. And I've seen Smith and Wesson live, and I heard them on Wax, and they're dope all the time. I really like this album. I mean, it's not 5 mics. It's not even 4 mics. I give it 3.5, but I think it was not a solid effort. I think it's a solid project. And I think that it's one that I think eventually it'll be like, hey, let me listen to that, you know, 2019 Smith and Wesson. So I feel like it'll be one that we'll maybe gravitate to. And I think that as fans, we're also a little fickle, and we want something and then we don't want something, and then they give us something, we don't like that, but then we want that, and then we don't want that, and it's really weird. And I think we prejudge things based off of hearing that, you know, this producer's producing, and we already have all these thoughts and opinions about it before it even drops and before we give it a chance. And so I just think that as fans, we're also a little weird. But I do agree with you, Kill. Like, we want dope music, but dope is different day to day, I think, to a lot of people. And so
oh no, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, so basically I think like sometimes with these new releases from the old school groups is like revisit it again in 6 months and see if it's still whack. Revisit it again in 6 months after and see if it's still whack, because our opinion of what's dope changes too. So that's sort of how I treat albums. I try not to compare them to, you know, The Shining or whatever before. I just try to compartmentalize it so that it's a fair rating and a fair opinion, but that's just me.
No, I think I'm probably the opposite, where it's hard for me to go back and listen to stuff. Music calls me, you know what I mean? So there'll be a day when I'm just like, that's why I love Apple Music. Like, I could just be like in the car, and be like, oh, I want to hear such and such. You know, I never want to be like, it's almost like dating a shorty. I want it to be organic. I don't want to be like, God damn, I gotta call this bitch. I should say that. I apologize. I'm at that. God damn, I gotta call this girl. I want to be excited to call the girl. Like, I don't want to have to check back in 6. Let me see if and I tried that with Electric Circus. Trust me, I tried, because I had kept going. I keep going back, and probably about 5 years ago, I said, fuck it, it's been 10 years. I'm not gonna like this out, but I tried. Y'all can't say I ain't tried. I just listened once. But I think
I'm like that with 444. I think it's silly. I think it's a silly album. I don't know why people rave about it, but I keep going back to it and being like, okay, well, maybe I'm missing something. Nope, it's still silly. There are elements that stand out more than they did when it dropped, but I give Jay that chance, you know, like people think it's like this, I don't know. People think it's like some biblical prophecy that he's saying on each track, and I'm trying to look for that, and I'm like, what the hell? He's talking about credit. Like, the freaking financial advisor at your bank is talking about credit.
But I think that's the problem. That, you know, that's why I just never want to force myself to try to like something.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying force yourself. I'm just saying that potentially our opinion changes, and we may gravitate to it later. I don't know.
Here's the funny thing about when you said produce, I specifically did not read the credits. I did not read the credits because I didn't want nobody.
I still don't know who produced. I still have a feeling Knots didn't do one track on there.
Knots did the joint.
He did one joint.
He did the joint with Rick Ross.
Okay.
But
and that's what I like.
Like, I think they put out, I think it's like on Knife's Instagram where he put out who the producers were for each song. But I specifically didn't listen because I didn't want anybody being like, well, Kill, we know you don't like Knife, so you don't. I didn't know who did nothing. In terms of find out, Crisis did the bulk of the album, and I thought Crisis is one of my favorites. So
yeah.
You know, Crisis did the bulk of the album. I think Knife may have only done 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm always just sitting here like, yo, I follow Knox on Instagram. Who is picking these beats that, you know, Knox be playing some bangers on IG. Then I hear albums and I'm like, what's this? Like the joint with Rick Ross is cool, but I'm like, yo, if you follow this mofo on IG, it's like, where's this at? You know, I brought the whole Pop Dukes album with Freddie Fox or whoever, and I'm like, okay, but where them Instagram beats at? But Vern, what you think about Smith and Wesson?
It's Midland to me, man. The beats to me were primarily uninspired, and the rhymes were primarily uninspired to me. Right. I equate Smith and Wesson with a sound, with a feeling, and if that means I'm stuck in time, so be it. But I didn't get that from them. And here's a basketball analogy. You remember when Sean Kemp was flying around, dunking on everybody's head? I mean, can jump. And then as he got older, he became a power forward, overweight, got to back everybody down. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of our beloved MCs from the 80s and 90s, when they try to make 2019 stuff, that's what it looks like to me. And I might be in the minority. Frankie Beverly, man, just give me that before I let go, bro. You know, I'm gonna put on my white linen and we're gonna groove, dog. I'm not telling you don't stop being creative. I'm good with that. But for me, don't tell me I'm fickle or what, dude. It ain't the same, and you can't make me like your stuff because we used to, you know, it ain't there no more.
Right. And for me, I don't even try to do, of course, what you said, great thing is not compared to Deshaun. At the end of the day, I know there's never going to be another Deshaun.
Right.
So me comparing to that, that gave up. And again, this isn't a knock on Knife. I didn't really, when they said they was making an album with Pete Rock, who's one of my favorite producers, I didn't get excited because I just felt like it wasn't a good fit. You ever have like 2 of your peoples link up and you like, I don't know how that relationship gonna work, because like that's what I mean. Not that they're good separate, but again, there's just imagine if the Funk Brothers left Motown. Like I felt like that's what happens when the Beat Miners left Up Down. Like, like, do we still get all those same funky the Funk Brother grooves or whatever? But yes, what you thinking? And we out.
I say 3 mics as well. I think that's fair. 3 mics. The songs that I like the songs. I mean, I'll go back and listen to the ones that I like. I don't think they should have had any. I mean, we were talking about this on a show before. I'm not a big fan. They shouldn't have had any guest verses, or they shouldn't have had Soul Child on there. Just do Smith and Wesson. I didn't think that they sounded bad. I thought they sounded what I was expecting to hear. I wasn't expecting nothing like groundbreaking or nothing like that. You know, they sounded like themselves. I could have done without the features. Like Rick Ross with Smith and Wesson. That just, you know, just like when you say the Soul Council, it just didn't sound right. That don't sound right, Rick Ross. As good as Rick Ross is, no diss to Rick Ross, but that just don't work to me.
And see, for me, I figured it was some of the marketing, just because it's like, look, for some of these new folk who don't know Smith and Wesson, let's get Rick Ross.
Absolutely.
Same with Rhapsody. I'm like, why is Rhapsody on the Smith and Wesson album?
It's a Soul Council project too.
Right, exactly.
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. That, you know, but that's why I was. So when I later went to find out that the chick singing is on Knife's label.
Yeah.
You know,
that's Victoria.
Right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm like, okay, that makes sense why she's on this. Because to me, Smith and Wesson, it always, to me, singing on a hook, to me, unless it's organic, always seems like we trying to get on the radio. You know what I mean? So especially with music, so nobody checking for music no more. It's just like, was there a favorite ode? Like, was this Omar's get out of jail free card on season 4 of The Wire? Like, where did Music Soul Child come up and pop up on this project? But I definitely feel you, Penny. Give them all the information of all the stuff that you're working on, all that good stuff, good brother.
Just Twitter, Penny_Butter. The last film I worked on, Here and Now, is playing probably on Netflix soon with Sarah Jessica Parker. So that will come out. There's another movie First We Take Brooklyn. I heard that should be out on Netflix soon. It's with Harvey Keitel, some gangster shit. I'll let y'all know when it's out.
I'll tell you the craziest thing, man. My wife loves. What was the show you on? The TV show?
Nashville.
I'll tell you, it's not wilder than coming into your bedroom being like, oh shit, they go Penny on the TV. Definitely salute the Penny for doing that thing in the acting gang. JP, give them all the information, good brother.
Instagram, Twitter, JPaz Music, JPAZ Music.
All right, Nick, give them everything.
Big bro, I have it linked up, IG and Twitter.
All right, no doubt. Porsche.
Yeah, you'll link it.
Vern, the closer. If y'all are in the Georgia state, get with my man.
Vern, the closer.
Yeah.
And V the Lone Closer on Instagram and V Chandler 10 on Twitter.
This dude is like a Rucker Park, a Rucker Park player. Your nickname is the closer. That dude just come off the bench in the fourth quarter to close it. Yes, give him everything, good brother.
All right, this might take a minute. I just want to speak on something right quick. Anybody that knows me, that y'all know me, I have a son that has autism. One of the biggest things that any parent, any extended family member can do is get yourself into an autism support group. Learn as much as you can about autism to where you can be a bigger help to that family member that you love and care about so much. I don't think me and my wife could have, well, I know we could have, but I mean, it's just a really big help. You get to meet people who are going through the same thing with you. You don't feel that you're alone. And everybody who has autism is certainly not the same, but when you're with a group of people, you notice things about your child that you see in another person's child, and you can share stories and you can do all of that stuff. It's so rewarding. I advise any parent who's gotten a diagnosis of autism, please search in your area for an autism awareness group. That's it.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. And since you preach, and I might as well preach real quick. Everybody, well, most people up here know, y'all know, but people may not be watching. I have fibromyalgia. I was on this drug Cymbalta for 2 years. Made me emotionally numb. It took me 3 weeks to deal with withdrawal symptoms and getting off of it. My advice for everybody: if your doctor prescribes you a drug, look up. Don't Google side effects, because I did all that, and none of this stuff that happened to me with any of that. I want y'all to Google lawsuits against whatever that medication. So if it's Cymbalta, don't Google side effects, Google lawsuits against Cymbalta, and then you'll start to see what people are really dealing with, to the point that, and yes, what made me think about is when you were talking about the group, and I'm just going online hearing stories, and it was crazy to hear like people talking about they hadn't cried in 3 years, and they had no emotions, and they had no happies and no sads. Like for the past 2 years, I've just been walking like blah, like I'm not happy, I'm not sad. And then some people even saying trying to get off of Cymbalta, it got so bad that they just got back on the drug because they couldn't deal with the withdrawal. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Like I literally was like, nah, I'm getting off of this. I don't care if I gotta take the next 3 weeks off of work to be able to get off of this. I'm not going back on. So like you said, Jens, very big thing. Groups, you don't feel by yourself, you know, because when you're going through it, you feel like, damn, I'm the only person going through this. And then not to say other people's pain makes you feel better, but then you see how bad some other people's stuff is compared to what you're dealing with. You know, again, not to say that that's a good thing, but it lets you know you're not alone. But all that to say, Kill 889 Twitter, IG. We'll make beats for food. I will check y'all next week, y'all.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.